So first up, we're going to be checking out how to not get unsubscribed from life by animals from Casual Geographics. This is the first time I've checked out their videos in general, although I will say I have seen a lot of other people, Airier Mouse, checking out their stuff before, so I have an idea what they're like, and I know I'm probably going to like this. Is what I would say, except the first image is a bison man. I grew up near a bison preserve because apparently they had them in Pennsylvania. I don't know why there, because I don't think that's their traditional ground, but they had them, and those things were cool. And they charge the fence every now and again. Yeah. This is going to be interesting. Just going to leave a like now because I'll definitely forget later. Speaking of charging, oh god, why did they get that glow? Oh, she's fine, I swear.
Subscriber, there's a couple of videos I might have brought you here.
Okay. We're doing the Darwin Awards version. Okay, it's that kind of video today. I swear, YouTube, they're all fine. I believe this as much as you probably believe me. Oh, yeah.
One of them might be the very first video I ever made. It's still up today, but considering it was a TikTok compilation I slapped together, and it was back when I used Apple headphones as a mic, the quality...
Oh. Oh god, he actually did Apple headphone mic. Not the worst, but I mean, I remember my old videos where I had a mic that was basically just a snowball. Actually, not that bad if you could get all sound removed from an entire building so only your voice exists and it doesn't echo in the slightest. You know, unrealistic.
It's trash. In fact, rewatching that video nearly made me cringe myself into a hernia. And in all honesty, if the views didn't go crazy, I definitely would have vaulted it like nature did the dinosaurs. Or the Bundy Hornets, whatever happened to them? Well, with the recent upgraded...
I'm sorry, the what? No, what was that
thing? Would have vaulted it like nature did the dinosaurs. Or the Bundy Hornets, whatever...
Damn, nature, you scary.
Happened to them? Well, with the
I don't want to know
the production quality of my channel, I figured why not remake the video that probably got you here in the first place. So here's how to survive a moose attack. You don't actually.
I'm pretty sure that's just the covering on their horns, but also if you were confronted with a grizzly bear or a moose, you're dead either way.
Have a choice in the matter. You see, the key word here is attack. The road to getting a moose aggravated often comes with a toll price of your life. And honestly, you're probably safer in front of a bear than a 10-foot tank with antlers. With predators, you can convince them that you're not worth the effort. But there is no negotiating with something that thinks you're actively trying to turn it into calories. So the best way to survive a moose attack is to not even let it get to that point.
Run.
So here are some signs that a moose is considering turning you from one of a kind to another in a pine. If a moose stops eating or drinking and suddenly stares at you, you got the moose's attention and it's in your life's interest to give it back. If a moose shows you the whites of his eyes, soon you'll be seeing the sight of God's skies. And if the ears are pinned back, his mind's on attack. And this goes for pretty much all animals. Once the ears go flat, then the next few seconds are going to be very crucial to continuing your way of life. And I
wonder if it also applies to the tail as well. Actually, I'm not even sure moose have tails.
I don't entirely know why, but if a moose urinates while looking at you, it's a sign of ill intent. I'm guessing it's like a territorial thing, but wherever you came from is where you need to be heading. And if a moose lowers his head and starts approaching you, that is likely the last warning that doesn't come with a hospital bill. Of course, none of that really
depends. I mean, if this happens in Canada, that's a very manageable bill. If it happens in America, you hope that it kills you instead.
Matters because a four-legged armored truck with the ability to make conscious choices could just choose to charge.
Damn, right in the kid's face.
There is no playbook in nature that the Messiah is going to follow. At which point your options.
Also, can we acknowledge that these are the most suicidal people I have ever met? I mean, it's not the biggest moose I've seen, but why? Jonas, humans are known for their stamina, not for the speed. I mean, on the upside, you could climb a tree. On the downside, have you seen most people? They're not going to climb a tree. And Martin, for ancient history, for the goal, for Henifer, the chicken pharaoh of Greater Canada, and for me, no having to copy the link weekly. I'm sorry, I just read chicken pharaoh of Greater Canada. Henifer. I have questions. I'm not sure I want the answers. Oh, God.
Are limited, but you're going to want to get into a car, a shed, or a building, or at the very least put something between you and the moose, like a tree or even a mailbox or something.
Yeah.
And if violence is inevitable, you're going to want to curl into a ball, protect your vital
organs, faster.
Those who may have wronged you in the past so the hate in your heart doesn't weigh you down as you go to the clouds. But most importantly...
Oh, it had the babies near it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Don't get up right after the moose stops trampling you, because that could motivate the moose to star in the sequel of your assault. Basically, the whole make yourself look bigger thing, yeah, do the exact opposite with a moose.
I thought that was a bear at first. I legitimately thought that was a bear, but no, that's a moose. That is the most jacked moose ever. Oh my god. Like, look at this thing. It's like, okay, animals have steroids. This is the picture of, I'm not carnivorous, but... Oh my god.
Don't stand your ground, because at the moment it's not yours. You're dealing with the Lord of the North, and nothing short of a magazine with no words or a Freed Willy is stopping it. You can expect more than 10% off when the moose is involved, especially when it's a mother with a calf or a male in rut. And for those of you that already know what rutting is, I'm 90% sure I know how you know, and I'm 90% disappointed in you. However,
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I'm not going to clarify because I just realized what rutting would be. Because I thought it was digging for a second, then I realized that's not the case. Also, Bill Larson just has the quote of a random site in Canada. Indestructible moose, next 5 kilometers. Yeah, that sounds about right. And Jonas, a tree is not going to help you when a giant animal can run into the same tree with terrifying high speed. Yeah. Yeah, I'm assuming it's going to knock the tree down. And honestly, if it's a bear, they'll just climb it. But honestly, at that point, that's not actually going to happen because at least most Americans can't climb to save their life or, you know, move.
The moose usually isn't trying to hurt you, so the less of a threat you are, the less danger you're in. Can't really say that for these guys, though. Here's how to survive a chimp attack. Yeah, funny thing about that, either you don't or you wish you didn't. Look, if you already follow me, then you already know what chimps are.
I will never get over this picture. This is real. Like, tell me this is just some really morbid stuffed animal. Because that means someone was dumb enough to give a baby to a chimp.
Are what they're capable of. People think they're cute because they look like humans when they should be scared because they act like them too.
Yeah, that makes about sense. Also, it has been proven they go to war sometimes, so act like us.
I actually have a list on how to survive a chimp attack, but if you're in a position where you can get touched up by one, then you've already ignored steps 1 through 5.
The first one is stay inside the vehicle, drive further away, keep driving, you're too close, don't stop. Is there gas? Get out, push down a hill, get back in and ride down the hill, and hopefully at some point they give up.
Step 6 is to lease a coffin. But let's say you effed around and now you're trying not to find out. Don't smile or show teeth, since this can be interpreted as a sign of aggression. It's their version of flashing your piece.
I mean, that's actually a lot of animals. For example, dogs, which I only know because I've had a ton of them. Smiling is showing the canines. It's showing the teeth. It's showing the thing that they will kill you with. Like, just doing this. That's fine. You don't see teeth. Seeing teeth means I'm about to fuck you up. Yeah, you don't do that.
Contact with a chimp is a good way to make contact with your ancestors, since this can be directly seen as a challenge. However, if a chimp is already coming at you with violence, then it might be time to pick a color for your casket. There is one weakness chimps have that might just save you. Because chimpanzees are built like Michelangelo statues, their relatively low body fat and top-heavy body composition means chimps can't really swim. So if you happen to be near a body of water, diving into the deep end where a chimp can't follow you might be the only thing that saves you. Now,
yeah, but if you're in any place that there is water, there's probably a lot of predators in there. Granted, there's probably a lot of predators everywhere, so you're probably fucked regardless at this point.
Here's a video of a chimp doing exactly what I just said they couldn't. So I guess the real advice here is be an organ donor, because at least whatever they find left of you can go on to benefit someone else, because it's not like you're gonna need it. Now let's talk about bears. You've probably heard the popular rhyme for bear safety, and that's, if it's black, fight back, if it's brown, get on the ground, and if
it's a polar, you're kind of dead. Also, no, you don't fight back against a black bear. You just make yourself bigger and yell. They're kind of cowards. Admittedly, it's also why they aren't hunted to extinction, because they live closer to populations of a lot of people. You don't fuck with grizzlies or other brown bears, man. Those things, they hold a grudge. Polar bears will kill you for sport.
If it's white like a cloud, you're gonna die. But there are some misconceptions with this, and some of those misconceptions could get you put on a shirt. So we're gonna talk about it bear by bear.
Put on a shirt? Okay, I'm just going to acknowledge I have absolutely no idea what that means. Because that sounds like a good thing, and I don't think it's going to be a good thing. Huh. And Jonas, you mean, oh, the chimp has the grip strength of a grown man who trains regularly? Honestly, I did actually think it was significantly higher than that. Yeah.
Black bears are going to want to fight back. But that doesn't mean just start throwing hands at the bear, because a bear of any kind is folding any man like Sunday laundry.
Yeah.
But what you want to do is make yourself look like a threat. Stand up tall, talk loud and firmly, and if you have a bag or a jacket or something, raise it over your head to make yourself look bigger. Black bears seem to constantly forget who they are and instead choose to identify as overweight raccoons, so they can be intimidated. Now,
yeah, especially the ones near people, because I honestly, at this point, the ones that have the most contact with people are the most sensitive, but also the ones who are most likely to have not been killed because they needed to be killed after they killed someone else, which is actually how population control is usually done with that animal. Not the best way, but there's a lot of them, and they get into places they shouldn't because we build in places we shouldn't, and that has caused fire issues, but that's completely beside the point.
Brown bears, you're going to want to get on the ground.
So that's what stupid arrow, David? Oh, that makes sense.
Some people say to play dead, since bears don't like to eat prey that's already past tense.
No.
Bears will eat literally anything, including other baby bears, so they're not about to miss out on free protein.
Other baby bears? I was unaware of that. That is fucked up.
Protein just because the expiration date might be off. But also, bears aren't stupid. You see, playing possum works for possums because they're not playing. They actually pass out and go into a panic coma where no amount of pushing or prodding wakes them up. Also, they'll drool and release a foul smell to really sell the bit. So unless you plan on committing to the role that hard, it's not going to help you. Why you actually get on the ground is to look as unintimidating and non-threatening as possible. So basically, none of the things you do with a black bear. You're going to want to lay down, clasp your hands around your neck, and then spread your legs to make it harder to flip you over. But the most important thing, and I cannot stress this enough, do not run. A bear can keep pace with a horse over a short distance, so all running does is guarantee you get made into a memory sooner. A bear can keep pace with a horse over a short distance, so all running does is guarantee you get made into a memory sooner. Especially can keep pace with a horse over a short distance, so all running does is guarantee you get made into a memory.
I was not aware a bear could move that fast. I mean, that's a brown bear too, so yeah, but also, I mean, at this point, it could kill you by just not stopping. They wouldn't even need to try and bite you or anything. You'd just be dead on impact.
Memory sooner, especially since bears are the largest terrestrial predators on the planet while also having the endurance of a CrossFit junkie. And sometimes the bear will test their instincts by charging. Most charges, however, are bluffs, and the worst thing you can do for your health is do to race with a homicide case with paws. Also, whoever said bears can't run downhill was actively trying to sell the human race. Yes, they can, and thinking they...
Why couldn't they charge? Like, did someone actually They don't actually believe that. There's no one dumb enough to... Never mind. I just remembered what species I'm talking about. Someone is definitely dumb enough to believe that. Oh yeah, Necro. Bears are cousins of dogs? Yeah, so are foxes and wolves, for that matter. And admittedly, so are the new hybrids of foxes and... Sorry, I think it was a wolf-dog hybrid that's actually as big as a bear. Not a brown bear, but like some of the larger bears. And yeah, that's terrifying because it should be a mule. It shouldn't be able to procreate. And suddenly there are populations that are growing in, I think, near Colorado. No, I think it was in either Wyoming or one of the Dakotas. There's actually a population because what should have been a mule, in the sense that it can procreate because it's a cross-pollination between two different species, did. And it's viable. And they're huge. Yeah, it's like, oh, hi, Jurassic Park of wolf, bear, dog hybrids. That's terrifying. I thought it was a joke. It wasn't. I'm scared.
They can't will be your downfall. But the best way to survive a bear attack is to avoid one.
Why are they saying the recording?
So if you're ever hiking in bear country, you're actually going to want to make noise, which sounds counterintuitive, but making a lot of noise actually tells the bear where you are and allows it to avoid conflict in the first place. Also, since bears have a hypersensitive nose and sense of smell, carrying bear spray can be the difference between going home in peace and resting there in pieces.
So unironically, a defensive mechanism for surviving a bear's is to be that annoying asshole with all the axe spray. There's also a coyote-wolf hybrid according to Necro. That actually sounds pretty cool, actually.
Bear spray is said to save people from serious injury in bear encounters 98% of the time. God bless.
Granted, that's just because the other any percent who it doesn't save are dead and they never find out. It's one of those self-correcting problems. Does it work? Yes. Did you survive? Yes. What about the guys who didn't survive? Well, we don't know. They didn't survive. How would we find out? We can't tell who didn't report back. Just raise your hand if you died. No one raised their hand. We're fine. I'm joking, but unironically, there have been studies carried out that way. So, more like, I hope I'm joking. Let's put it that way.
See if you're in that 2%. There is a catch, though. Everything I just said applies to territorial encounters with bears. If a bear comes at you on predatory timing, then my only advice is to make peace with the higher being of your choosing. Predatory bear attacks on humans are rare, but when they do happen, someone gets put on the news. And that's why if the bear in your presence is a polar bear, then it's up. And by it, I mean your time on Earth. Polar bears are hyper carnivores, so while other bears are omnivorous, polar bears are all meat all the time. And since polar bears can smell their next meal from an area code away, by the time you see him, just know he's been plotting on you. There is one tip that says polar bears have ADHD, and undressing and tossing articles of clothing will distract it long enough for you to escape.
I doubt it.
But unless you have like an unlocked car or a bear-proof house, all you've done is guarantee that you now die naked and cold. And if the bear somehow doesn't get you, whoever finds your body gets to see exactly how your life ended.
Yeah.
Now, half the reason I work out is so that if I ever suffer an untimely death, then I can leave behind a respectable corpse. But considering this is probably happening in the ice-chilled Arctic, they'd probably just assume I was compensating for something. If you know, you know. The guys sure do. But yeah, if it's black,
he ain't wrong.
Fight back. If it's brown, you better hug the ground. And if it's white like nose powder, then it's finna be your final hour. And speaking of final hour, here's how to survive a hippo attack. No.
You don't. You just don't. Do not fuck with hippos. They're probably the most dangerous thing in Africa. Australia? Don't know. Africa? Definitely. And according to Alice, you can very much scare polar bears away. Oh, yeah. But I know enough about polar bears that I don't want to find out how much I would need to try. Granted, I wouldn't like to do that with brown bears either. I mean, I live in a wooded area. There's plenty of black bears around. They're generally cowards. And it does keep them from being population controlled nearly as immediately as everything else.
No, you're not going to. And if you're disappointed by that, then that's a failure of your own expectations. And considering we're like halfway through the video, if you click genuinely looking for hippo advice, then I'm assuming you're watching this from God's data plan. Hippos are the heaviest things on four legs without a trunk or a horn.
Really?
They divide crocodiles without a calculator and subtract an estimated 500 people from the population a year. And if we're being...
Did it just take a test bite of a living alligator? Yeah, that makes sense. And beware the Xenos. The most common snake in Australia is the third most deadly. I'm actually a little scared that it's only the third.
Honest, is probably higher. Show me someone who survived a hippo attack and I'll show...
Swallowed 3 times and lived. Oh, he doesn't have... Oh. Ah. Nearly got her leg chewed off completely. Nearly! They're not carnivorous, but they do it.
Show you someone you should get lottery numbers from. So my only advice to surviving this whale Karen...
What the fuck? I'm sorry, what the... I don't...
The hippo attack, and I'll show you someone you should get lottery numbers from. So my only advice to surviving this whale...
I'm sorry, it looks like this is a video of a random park where the hippo can just get out of the freaking pen whenever it wants. Okay. Also, Bill, hippos are omnivores? Oh, I did not actually know that. I was not aware. I actually, now that I think about it, never actually knew what they ate at all. I just assumed it would be yes, and you don't want to be the yes.
Karen throwing a fit is to uninstall yourself so he doesn't get credit for the kill. Unless you're exercising the right to bear absolute heat.
I'm not even there! That's an old video, and I got scared when he hit the hippo's nose.
In which case, I hope he likes seafood because he finna eat some shells. Then again, since hippos are as close as you can get to being bulletproof, Self-deletion might be the easiest way out. Ironically, in this entire video, the cougar might be the most survivable out of any animal here.
Yeah, there's actually a story about a cougar being fought. Oh, sorry, it was a bobcat, I think, that tried to attack a lady in Florida, and she strangled it with her bare hands so her daughter wouldn't wake up. Sorry, granddaughter wouldn't wake up, who was sleeping in the open room.
The rules for surviving a cougar are pretty simple. Try to travel in groups, avoid being out at dawn or dusk, and if one tries to offer you a drink, just remember nothing in this life is free. Now,
God damn it. Okay, he got me with that one. He got me. Oh. Different definition of cougar, indeed. As someone with an older wife, I mean, it's 2 years, but it counts. I don't know. It worked out. Also, Lunar Dragon 1. Hey, thanks, too. There's a hybrid between a grizzly bear and a polar bear. So is that a more laid-back polar bear or a more immediately angry grizzly? You know, let's not find out. Let's just not.
Now, when surviving the actual cats, the rules are a little different. You see, cougars are actually naturally wary of people and are perfectly happy avoiding humans. So if a puma ever presses you like in this video,
oh, I saw this video, yeah.
Stumbled into some cubs and now you gotta see the mama about it. Back away slowly. All running does is tell the cougar that you're something worth chasing. Also, with ambush hunters, the worst thing you can do when a cat confronts you is turn your back to it, because that makes it more likely to pounce.
I mean, that's also applied to dogs as well, and they're pack hunters, so the one that pounces is usually the one that gets your back.
You're gonna want to stand up tall and back away slowly while speaking in a loud, firm voice. It doesn't matter what you say. You can recite the entire script for the B movie as long as it's loud enough for the cougar to hear you.
No, you dude. Trying to attack me, your eyes are looking away from you. Dude, what do you want me to do? Come on. This sucks.
You can also throw things not at, but near the cougar.
So there's someone in chat going, I shouldn't do VR horror games. I would die of a heart attack. Jonas, you're right. I would. It's why I don't do horror games in general, because it doesn't have to be VR. Real ones hit me just as hard. Regular ones. There's a reason I've never been able to finish Alien Isolation, because I was actually given a donation goal to beat that game. That ain't happening. I nearly shit myself just with the freaking intro, man, when there is explicitly no alien to scare you. Just the atmosphere alone got me. Is coward. Very much so. Not doing it.
However, if you crouch down to pick something up or take your eyes off the cougar, then you've broken 2 rules in 1 move. Just keep moonwalking and understand that if the cougar wanted you off the census, you'd already be trending on Twitter. This advice pretty much applies for big cats too. However, if you find yourself staring down a lion, first of all, it probably took a lot of bad life decisions to end up.
I mean, you probably also are incredibly rich to go on a safari, or you jumped into a lion den in a zoo, so I'm okay with how this turns out either way.
There, and it's likely your fault. But pay attention to its tail. If it's swaying from side to side, that means the lion feels threatened, which is good because that means it can still be negotiated with. But if the tail's rigid and not moving at all, then it's likely a predatory encounter, in which case the only thing up for negotiation will be the cost of your casket. In tiger country, it's often advised to wear a backwards mask to convince the ambushing big cat that it's already lost the element of surprise. But with tiger attacks on the rise, it's likely the striped demons are calling the bluff. Bluffing's probably your only option against a kangaroo.
I've seen this picture of the Jack kangaroo before. It doesn't look any less fucked up every time I see it.
Like with the moose and the brown bear, your goal is to convince the steroid rabbit that you're as little of a threat as possible. And you do that by avoiding eye contact and not facing the macropod directly. And if a kangaroo starts putting the paws on you, you're gonna wanna curl into a ball, take the hits, and pray. Because if the kangaroo hauls off and kicks you, you're probably not getting back up. But if you want a kangaroo cheat code, lower your head, keep your hands close to your body, and cough. A deep cough is similar to the sound weaker males make to submit to a bigger, stronger alpha-roo. It's
really coughing. Disclaimer, this doesn't work with red kangaroos as they don't cough to show submission. I'm assuming red kangaroo is probably the absolute most common one, right?
basically giving the kangaroo the right of way. As you can see, this woman failed to cough and now she's coughing up a kidney. So I guess with kangaroos you have 2 choices. You can either have a coughing fit or be fit in a coffin. But you don't have options when you're dealing with the most dangerous animal humanity's ever seen. And that's because it's humanity itself.
Yeah.
So if you ever happen to wake up and find that you're a wild animal, here's how to survive a human attack. First,
tell them their taxes are due.
Just to understand that you are likely screwed, and any outcome that doesn't end in one less of you likely will end in something worse, and the sooner you can accept that, the sooner you can be at peace. Now, humans may look like the light work of the great ape group, being significantly weaker than orangutans, gorillas, and chimps, but they make up for it. The same way that bullied kid makes up for years of torment with a suspiciously shaped duffel bag and the intent of lighting up the school like a Christmas tree.
Actually, that's kind of a misnomer right there. That's actually not what happened with a lot of them. For example, in Columbine, those kids were not actually unpopular. They had the perception that they were. For one of them, he was massively depressed and taken advantage of by the other. I'm not going to mention the names because fuck them. But the other one was a sociopath who had delusions of persecution, even though he wasn't, because when you actually looked at the people talking about it, they thought he was just a general normal kid. It's like, oh yeah, there's that guy who was in class, until he wasn't. That's actually one of the hallmarks for a lot of the people who take those actions. It's not actually that they're bullied. A lot of them aren't. A lot of the bullies aren't the people who do it. A lot of the people who are bullied aren't the people who do it. It's the people who keep to themselves, who no one really interacts with, who think everyone else is out to get them, but they're not, who is not actively having that delusion confirmed, who are then the ones who act on it. It's the delusional aspect that kind of does it when you're not entirely attached to reality. The people who are actually bullied don't usually do it. The people who are bullied don't usually do it. I just repeated myself, but it does need to be said. That's not usually the indicator. It's the people who think they're being bullied, who think they're the outcast, who think that they are alone and nobody cares. But nobody else knows that because they don't have a bad or negative opinion of this person because they're just doing their own thing. And that's just like live and let live to everyone else, except this guy thinks that's an active thing against them. That disconnect is the hallmark. Unfortunately, you usually find that out when everything horrible happens. And Valerian, paranoia is a bitch. That's the crazy part, though. It's not usually paranoia. It's not actually paranoia. People who are paranoid are afraid for themselves, and they need to defend themselves sometimes. But usually the thing they defend themselves isn't actually physical because they're not actually there, so they don't actually do anything because they're not actually going to have anyone to do anything to. That can change, of course. But the people who actually do the action to take action against other people, not just the people they perceive who are doing it to them who don't exist, that's a level of delusion well beyond that and way more dangerous. Sometimes you get clues, sometimes you don't. There's way more into that, but I don't want to get into that. Sorry, this is a bit of pop culture that I kind of get set off on because it actually leads to a lot of people looking at the wrong signs. And that could be dangerous.
You can try to run, but the Homo sapien race used to literally chase their prey into heat stroke since they're able to sweat and cool down while actively running you into the ground. Of course, that's when they hunted with spears. Now they use their father's boomstick to blow you off the senses, while still being too far for you to add any input to the matter. Make no mistake, without claws, venom, or a strong bite force, an unarmed human might seem like an easy W. Until you realize that humans work as a massive monkey mafia, where if you hurt or murk one of their own, they exterminate your entire family. And honestly, that's the nicest thing they'll do. Because the other option involves being captured and taken as a spectacle in their society, where they will imprison you, break you down, and punish you for being yourself, just like high school.
He's just saying just like high school, and I'm not disagreeing with that. Also, seriously, man, the more you learn about orcas in captivity, the more you realize it's fucked up.
But the worst part of it all, when the deuces hit the fan and someone gets put on a shirt, they'll blame you for being what you've always been. They'll slaughter hundreds of millions of your kind and then gaslight you to convince themselves that you're the problem, all while actively destroying the natural order that existed billions of years before them. Because humans aren't God, but they sure love to play it. So the only way to survive a human attack is to readjust your goals and just enjoy the show before a hairless oppression monkey with a superiority complex comes by and
hairless oppression monkey with a superiority complex. Oh my god, that's probably the best way I've ever heard a person described ever, and I need to have that on a shirt.
But that's going to do it for this video. For more consistent content, be sure to follow my Instagram and TikTok. I try to post both.
That
and
was
if you
good,
haven't
man.
already, be sure to check out my new book on
100 animals that can fucking end you. That sounds about right. Yeah.
100 deadly animals that can RSVP your place in a cemetery. And if you'd like to support this channel beyond just subscribing, my Patreon's also going to be in the description. But other than
of course, he does the. Oh, he hit the other kangaroo right in the. Oh.
than that, drink water, hug your mother, and be safe out there. Because the only thing more of a menace than the animal behind the cage is the one outside it.
Oh man, that actually was kind of brilliant. And I'm just not going to comment on the guy who had the hippo that was just able to walk out of its own cage. I don't know what led to that. I don't care what led to that. It happened, and the guy's answer was to smack the hippo on the nose, which the hippo didn't like, and I'm pretty sure that's why the video ended there. Yeah. This was awesome. This was cool. And I can honestly see myself both enjoying everything this guy does and being absolutely and utterly terrified of anything this guy does. Because it's like that, hey, want to see something horrible? It's like, yeah. Oh, hey, we saw something horrible type moment. It's cool. But also, it happened. Neat. This is really damn good. And if you guys haven't already, I'm pretty sure most of you have at this point because I was getting this recommendation for quite a while. There's a link below to the original video. Hit it up. I'm going to now make a point to never think about that hippo video again because why? Dear God, why? I'm not thinking about it. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.